Hey everybody, welcome back to a North Texas Weather Center forecast, and today what we're looking at is the potential for some severe storms tonight and also into the overnight hours for North Texas, and this does include the chance for some damaging winds, large hail the size of golf balls, and the chance for even a few tornadoes, primarily along and north of the Red River Valley. I'm going to show you everything that you need to know in this forecast in terms of timing, the setup of this event, when to expect storms, basically everything that you need to know, and also kind of looking ahead to the future with that chance for that winter storm Wednesday into Thursday. Let's get started though. So there's a severe weather potential. Obviously we have a slight risk of severe storms across North Texas. This is primarily north of I-20, so from Wichita Falls to Abilene all the way over here to Denton County. Collin County is also included in that. And this is primarily where you'll see the worst of the severe storms tonight. There is a marginal risk on the other hand, and that does include areas like Oklahoma City. It's a pretty thin line here, but you can see this is kind of where your marginal risk is here. Also including the areas like Dallas and Tarrant County and southern areas of North Texas. Not even including Waco anywhere. Waco was included originally. It's not included anymore. The area that I'm most concerned about tonight will likely be right along the Red River Valley. That's, I think, where the worst of the storms will be. Now, what is the setup to this? Well, the temperatures, obviously, if you haven't already been outside today, they are very warm for this time of the year. We're looking at some upper 70s and even some low to mid 80s in some areas across North Texas by 3 to 4 o'clock this afternoon. Look at Weatherford, 86 degrees, and these temperatures are going to help weaken the cap across western North Texas areas and central Texas, or where these storms are going to initially develop. So out here near Abilene and Wichita Falls, those areas are pretty warm right now, and they're going to continue to warm up here over the next couple of hours. That will help weaken the cap here over the next few hours, and that will obviously equivalent to seeing some severe storms tonight. Now, obviously, beyond tonight, I'm going to kind of go really quickly through this. You can see temperatures by about 9 in the morning tomorrow. Cold front will move through off to the north in the 30s in Wichita Falls, here in DFW in the 60s. Eventually, that cold front pushes much further through going to Wednesday, and you can see there's a very sharp freezing line here, anywhere from Plano and off to the west, and this will equate to that chance for wintry precipitation. More on that, though, later in this forecast. Let's get more to the severe weather. So, again, the setup, we're looking at pretty high dew points as well. You can see the dew points across North Texas will be in the low to mid 60s tonight. Actually, even a few degrees warmer than what it was last week with that severe weather event we saw before, and that didn't bring much of anything. Only a few severe thunderstorm warnings. It was just very minimal severe weather. This one looks to be more promising if you're looking for severe weather. Now going into the instability, there are going to be some pretty high instability values tonight, which will obviously, again, equivalent to potential for more severe weather. Values as high as 1,500, which is pretty common. I mean, anywhere from about 1,000 to 2,000 is pretty much what we're usually seeing in severe weather events around this time of the year. Granted, when we're in like areas like April, and May, we're looking at values closer to 2,000 to 3,000, which is usually much more prominent for severe weather. In this case, it's pretty average for February and March, but again, we're looking at that chance for severe weather, and instability is definitely there today. Let's take a look at the tornado parameter as well. This will give you an idea of where that tornado threat mainly exists. So when these storms are developing, the main area for a tornado threat will be right in here. And again, I don't think this will really include Dallas and Fort Worth. I think this should stay to our north and west. And the values right along where those storms will be, you can see they're anywhere from 1 to 3, which is actually fairly moderate at this point. So we're looking at least a low-end tornado threat tonight, and that'll primarily, again, be right along the Red River. Eventually going to the overnight hours, this will be closer to about 10, 11 o'clock. The values are closer to 1 or less, which is promising. We will not see much of a tornado threat beyond 11 or 12 o'clock tonight. And eventually this all moves out to our east again. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the future radar. So this is probably what you've been waiting for, the entire timing and everything that you need to know. So right about now, we're not looking at a whole lot. I mean, it's pretty dry out there right now, but we will start to see showers and storms developing as early as 4 to 5 o'clock this afternoon out closer to Abilene. They are likely not going to be severe at 5 o'clock. I think that they should probably take a little bit to develop as they enter a more favorable environment. Out here, the dew points are a lot lower, the instability is a lot lower, the tornado parameter is even lower, so we're not really looking at much of a severe threat out in western North Texas or central Texas, indeed. Eventually, by 7 o'clock, these storms start to enter the more favorable environment. Now, let's keep in mind there is a cap over North Texas. Depending on how strong this does stay tonight will depend on how strong or weak these storms are. I don't think that they will be a huge hindrance to these storms because they will likely be going in this direction, likely staying just north of this black line here, so from Weatherford and off to the north and west. I think that's where we'll see the worst of the threats tonight. Eventually, by 8 o'clock, you can see near Weatherford, there's already going to be potential for a severe storm, and this is if this cap really weakens quickly. Eventually, by 9 to 10 o'clock, the strongest and most severe storms kind of get set up there and move on to the northeast, close to areas like Sherman and north of the Red River Valley. More storms behind it. These will likely be more of a strong sort of storm, so probably just gusty winds and maybe some small hail. Tornado threat probably will not exist with those storms. By 11 and 12 o'clock, these storms eventually move off to the north and east, and we will likely see a couple of passing showers, maybe some drizzle tomorrow morning, but nothing significant for your rush hour commute tomorrow. Obviously, not a whole lot of what we're looking at is there, but we are definitely looking at a chance for some severe weather. Even if it doesn't include DFW, it will be very close, and it could very well enter our region. This is just one model, so just keep that in mind. All right, let's take a look at what we're looking at in terms of winter precipitation, because this is a big talk, what we're going to see in terms of wintry precipitation, and who's going to see ice and whatnot. So at this point, it looks promising if we're trying to get to work Wednesday and Thursday, because it looks like a lot of us will see light accumulation, which means probably less than, 20th of an inch of ice. What we saw last time, just a couple of weeks ago with that big ice storm, that brought anywhere from a quarter of an inch up to even a half an inch of ice across areas of North Texas. This one looks to be a bit more promising, though, and not bringing as much ice. When I say that, though, I would still recommend driving slow if you're trying to get to work on Wednesday or Thursday. Let's take a look at the future radar, though. So eventually going to Wednesday, the chance for some wintry precipitation does exist. This would be in the form of sleet and freezing rain. This is not going to be snow, so don't get your hopes up about having 6 inches of snow when you wake up Thursday morning. It's not happening. Unfortunately, this is going to be a occurrence where the temperatures aloft are going to be warmer than the above or the below freezing line. So basically, it's going to be anywhere from about 35 to 40. I can even show you an example here. This is just one sounding. See, look at this temperature inversion. I mean, look at how sharp this is. And it's hard to see on your screen, but the temperature here at the surface is 24 degrees. Up here, it's close to 50. I mean, that's how dramatic this difference is, which is why we're going to see more of a sleet and freezing rain sort of mix. At the surface, though, it's going to be a lot colder. So that's why we're kind of seeing, why we're not going to be seeing snow. We're going to be just seeing sleet and freezing rain. I almost guarantee you, if you see snow, it would be maybe 2 or 3 snowflakes, and that's it. We're not going to see accumulation. All right, eventually going to Wednesday afternoon, the chance is there for some light freezing rain and some light sleet. It looks like a lot of this will be light. It will not likely be moderate or heavy. We're not really looking at a heavy event at this point. It looks to be mostly light and maybe a couple of isolated pockets of some moderate precipitation. Eventually by 6 o'clock, so right around rush hour, more freezing rain starts to fill in anywhere from Dallas and off to the north and west. So again, it looks like that freezing line is going to kind of set up right about here. So right about from Dallas and off to the north and west has the best shot for the potential for some freezing rain. I still think the most significant accumulation will kind of be in this box and off to the north and west. That's probably where we'll see the worst of the ice accumulation. Eventually into Thursday, we'll see another clipper come into our region, and this could also bring some precipitation. Luckily, it looks like our temperatures should be a little bit warmer, so not all of us will see freezing rain Thursday morning. So even DFW, it looks like for the most part, we'll probably just see a cold rain. This might mix in with some freezing rain in western sections of DFW, and you can see more freezing rain off to the north and west, and eventually going to late Thursday. This all moves out, and we should be drying out for the weekend and into next week. We don't have any precipitation really on our forecast up until sometime very far out, possibly as early as mid-March. So it's going to be probably a while until we see more precipitation from that. And yeah, let's go ahead and take a look quickly at the forecast that I have as of right now. And here it is. All right, so let's take a look at the forecast in terms of what to expect, in my opinion, for this wintry precipitation. Again, it looks like ice accumulation is likely across areas like Decatur, Gainesville, Mineral Wells, and back off to the north and west. This looks like where we'll see mostly wintry mix and not much of cold rain. Here in DFW, we'll probably be in a mix of cold rain, sleet, and freezing rain. So this will probably be on and off, seeing a potential for freezing rain, and then some sleet, and then some rain, and then it's just going to keep going back and forth. That's what we're probably going to be expecting here in DFW. Back off to the south and east, we'll probably just be seeing cold rain at this point. But we'll have more specific accumulations for you pretty soon. Make sure to stay updated with North Texas Weather Center for the latest. And this forecast is brought to you by Platinum Contracting, Dallas Antenna, and THD Vehicle Doorstep.